Hi, this is Megan Fairchild. I'm a principal dancer with New York City Ballet, and this is Playbills from Ballet to Broadway.
Megan Fairchild is a principal dancer with New York City Ballet who made her Broadway debut in the 2014 revival of On the Town, choreographed by Joshua Bergas and directed by John Rando.
I had heard they were looking for people and they were auditioning even some people in my company, and I remember thinking, oh, good for them, how fun that might be. I didn't even consider myself in that category of even possibly being a part of it. And then towards the end of their audition process, they reached out to my brother actually, and he forwarded me this Facebook message they sent to him, and they said, would your sister be interested in auditioning for On the Town? We'd love to see her. And I blew it off because I was like, that's just ridiculous. I don't sing. This is more my brother. And then next morning I just woke up and I was like, why not just audition? Like, what an opportunity to audition for a Broadway show. So I literally only auditioned purely for the exercise of trying something new. I think I was just like a last minute idea, and every important person was there in attendance, and they had me leave the room for like a couple minutes, and John Rando was like, congratulations, it looks like it's gonna be your Broadway debut. And I was like, wait, what? And I had to like tell my boss at the ballet and everything. There were so many things, but I was so excited. It was an opportunity I would never pass up.
She entered the School of American Ballet, the official school of New York City Ballet, in 2000, joining New York City Ballet in 2002, and she was promoted to principal dancer by 2005.
I think it was the perfect role. I had this freedom to not sing amazing. Every line after I had to sing was, oh, try again, you'll do better, try it this way. You know, I'm in a singing lesson in that scene. I just felt, for the first time in my life, I didn't put pressure on myself to be perfect, which I usually do as a ballerina. It was hard for me to accept that not every show was going to be perfect. You have a lot of thought and care gets to go into each show because you only do like 2 times of each ballet that season. And it's kind of easy to execute perfectly twice. But 8 times a week for a year, it's impossible. And I had to get really used to not being upset with myself if the show wasn't perfect every time. And what it really taught me as a performer was what's important is putting on the show and not being a perfectionist about it. And I think it's changed my dancing in general. Coming back to the ballet, I'm more in the moment. I understand that every audience is different. I think it really just taught me how to perform better. One thing I love about the dynamic of a Broadway show is that from the get-go, the show is cast. Everybody knows their role and their place in it, and so it totally takes away any competition that's happening in the process throughout spending all that time with those company members. Whereas in the ballet, we have casting going up every single Tuesday. With my role in On the Town, I learned that just me is enough. And I think On the Town really taught me that through the support of Josh Bergas, the choreographer, and John Rando, like being so supportive of just my intuition and my instincts. And they really just trusted me. I felt like they're not telling me to do anything. They're just like letting me, go. And so I really learned, just you is enough. And it was a great experience and something I really took away from it. Well, on Broadway, it's the same show every day, so you have your routine. And you hear certain parts of the show happening and you know what you've got to do to prepare for that first entrance, and you kind of just go into a very step by step to get yourself on stage. But for a ballet performance, it's much more like everything has to feel perfect, and you're warming up backstage for a long time and taking an hour to put on your makeup. And so it's a much longer process, but when you do it 8 times a week, you just want to get there fast and get on that stage.
The choreography of Jerome Robbins is a pillar of the repertoire at New York City Ballet, but it was Susan Stroman's 2004 double feature for the same company that Fairchild found prepared her most for her role in On the Town.
You know, I've never really done a Robbins role that had a character. I do the more classical, abstract ballets of his, like Dances at a Gathering or Andantino. I was a little more prepped from my work with Susan Stroman, so that was like really fun, and it came very naturally. I really enjoy getting to hear the audience laugh, and that just doesn't even feel like work to me. I'm having a baby in October, so I'm on maternity leave right now, just kind of chilling, but then I'll be very much excited to go back to the ballet in the spring, have my family at home and dance on the stage. And then also, I am starting a business degree in January. So that's what's next for me, just on the side while I dance. I really love the Broadway experience, and I fell in love with the community. I think it opened my world, it changed my life, and meet all these other talented people who aren't doing the exact same art form as me, but we can learn from each other. It was amazing.